Bismillah. We are continuing from where we stopped last time. And we said that we are looking at the story of Prophet Yuusuf alayhi salam, and is regarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the best of the stories narrated in the Quran, simply because it is in one place, it is not scattered like other stories, and it entails actually what we go through in the life: torturing, the pain, the agony, the success. All those challenges are entailed in a single story and on a single person. So it is one of the best, actually it is the best stories narrated in the Holy Quran. So last time we stopped when Yuusuf alayhi salam was in prison. And in the prison, of course there were so many other people, but the Quran normally basically talked of two that entered with Yuusuf alayhi salam in the prison, of course with a reason. And we said that one of them had a dream whereby he saw in that dream as he was providing drinks or wine to the king. And the other one had a dream where he saw himself carrying a bread, and then the birds were eating on that bread that he was carrying. And they requested Yusuf alayhi salam to interpret and to break down what the dreams meant. And that's where we stopped. He told the other first one that for you will be set free. You will be freed from the prison and you will go back to the palace, because these were people earlier on working in the palace, but they were accused of poisoning the king, and then they decided to imprison them. But one of them was guilty and the other one was innocent. So their dreams meant that the other one will go back to the palace and will be able to provide wine in other words, he will be a servant to the king. And then the other one who was guilty will be crucified, and then he will be put on cross, and then the birds will come and eat him. And then that's really what happened in the near future after Yusuf had interpreted the dream. Actually, let me just give the opportunity to my brother to first do the recitation, then we kick off.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا صاحبي السجن أما أحدكما فيسقي ربه خمرا وأما الآخر فيسلب فتأكل الطير من رأسه قضي الأمر الذي فيه تستفتيان. وقال للذي ظن أنه ناج منهما اذكرني عند ربك فأنساه الشيطان ذكر ربه فلبث في السجن بضع سنين. وقال الملك إني أرى 7 بقرات سمان يأكلهن 7 عجاف و7 سنبلات خضر وأخر يابسات. يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في رؤياي إن كنتم للرؤيا تعبرون. قالوا أضغاث أحلام وما نحن بتأويل الأحلام بعالمين. وقال الذي نجا منهما وادكر بعد أمة أنا أنبئكم بتأويله فأرسلون.
He recited from what I've been explaining, yeah? But what happened is that the things happened like Yusuf had prophesied. The other one was set free, he was freed from the prison and he went back to the palace. And the other one was crucified, he was killed on a cross, and then birds had to eat him. But Yusuf, before the other one left the prison, he told that very one he thought, or he believed that he would be freed. He told him before leaving the prison that when you reach to the king, you tell him my situation, that in the prison there is someone who was imprisoned but he's innocent. You narrate my situation to the king so that he can look into my situation. Maybe I also get they free me from the prison. But when that man went to the palace, of course, with the so many privileges, it's like if I send you to the state house, that when you reach there, you meet the president, you tell him that at IUIU, there is a man called man is panting, actually, is toiling with the situation. So when you reach there, you will find the privileges are so many, the convoy, the meals, the beddings, and the rooms, even the lights, everything will be very good. So you will forget. But for this matter, Allah says, فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانِ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. Satan made that man forget to mention Yuusuf alayhi salam in front of the king. And then Yuusuf had to stay in the prison for so many years. Actually, I told you that most of the books, they say that Yuusuf stayed in the prison for 7 years after interpreting the dream. But he had stayed in the prison earlier for 5 years. So altogether being 12 years down the road in the prison. But this is a man, actually, this is a prophet, by the way, but he's imprisoned for all that wrong. And actually, he wasn't even guilty, he was innocent. Actually, this one means that not all the challenges that you go through that you're guilty of that situation. Sometimes you are accused of false issues that actually you have no idea of. But you just have to let the life flow and then life continue. So Yuusuf alayhi salam stayed in the prison all that long. The other man forgot to narrate his story to the king. And then what happened? Allah brought a chance. The king also experienced a dream. He said, Inni ara sab'a baqaratin simani yakuluhunna sab'un ijaf. I see in my dream. Of course, he gathered his cabinet and then he narrated what he saw in the dream, so that those people can interpret for him. Because you know, kings, they always worry about their kingdom getting vanished because of small problems. So he dreamt and then he called the cabinet to interpret what he dreamt. So he said, I see seven fat cows being eaten by 7 small cows. And I also see 7 spikelets. Actually, to be sure, to be a little bit critical, you are not supposed to say that maize is a pod, because maize does not grow in a pod. It is the beans that grow in pods. But for maize, those are spikes. For rice, spikes. For wheat, spikes. For sorghum, spikes. So that man saw 7 spikes that were raw, not dry. And then he also saw other 7 spikes dry in his dream. So he gathered the cabinet and then he narrated the dream. And then he said, Aftun, if you tell me, you interpret my dream. That is if you know how to interpret what? The dreams, as you've been doing. It should be remembered that every prophet is given miracles that are running in his reign. For example, Isa alayhi salam, his regime was full of healing. So Isa's miracles, if you look at them critically, you'll find that they are related to healing. Musa alayhi salam, his miracles were related to witchcraft, because those people were more of witchcraft. If you look at Yuusuf, his regime was full of dreams and interpreting dreams. And Allah gave Yuusuf alayhi salam the wisdom to interpret the dreams. If you look at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those people, the Arabs by then, were strong in the language, in their language, the Arabic language. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a very strong man in the language. Actually, sometimes he used to speak some things, but even when the real Arabs do not understand what the Prophet said, they had to ask, what do you mean by that word? So, Yuusuf alayhi salam, in his reign, the king had that dream and then he explained to the cabinet, but the cabinet said, Adughathu ahlami, those are false dreams. And of course, for us, we don't know how to interpret those false issues. They carry no meaning. And therefore, we shall not interpret because they are meaningless. Now, the other man who was in the prison and in a corner, looking at these people deceiving the king, he had it raised the hand. Then he said, Allah says, وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ أَنَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِتَأْوِيلِهِ فَأَرْسِلُونَ. He remembered after a period of time. Actually, the word ummah in Arabic language, you can use it in so many ways as you wish. Ummah can mean a period of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَئِنْ أَخَّرْنَا عَنْهُمُ الْعَذَابَ إِلَىٰ أُمَّةٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ لَيَقُولُنَّ مَا يَحْبِسُهُ. If we try to detain the punishments up to a specified time or after a short period of time, those people will say, why don't the punishments come? So he used the word ummah to mean time. But ummah also means a group of people having the same or a similar belief. Allah says, Inna hadhihi ummatukum ummatan wahidatan wa ana rabbukum fa'budun. Indeed, this is your religion, and it is one religion, and I'm your Lord, so worship me. So he used the word ummah to mean religion. But the word ummah can also mean one person, if that one person has all the characteristics that can make up a nation. Allah says, Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanitan lillahi hanifan walam yak minal mushrikin. Ibrahim was a full nation, only one man, but was a full nation because he was a very strong man, not only in belief, but even in the society. He was looked at as a very strong man, Ibrahim alayhi salam. So he is termed as ummah in the Quran. But for this purpose, Allah says, وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ. The man remembered after a very big period of time. He said to the king, أَنَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِتَأْوِيلِهِ فَأَرْسِلُونَ. I will tell you of its interpretation. Just send me forth. You send me, I go somewhere in a prison. There is a man, I know him, he's a very good man. You'll be able to decipher, to break down the what? The dream. If you were the king, what would you do, Mr. Shafi? If you were the king, of course you can say, you take whatever you want, but I just want the dream deciphered. That's what I want. So he said, you go. And the man had to go. And this is what we call real friendship. You see, wherever you are, you need to create good friendship, because that friend can help you at one time. If you are in a squeeze, that friend can help you. Actually, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Innama mathalu al-jalisi salih wal jalisi su ka hamil al-misk wa nafikh al-kir. Fa hamil al-misk imma an yuhdhiyak wa imma an tabta'a minhu wa imma an tajida minhu rihan tayyiba wa nafikh al-kir imma an yuhriqa thiyabak wa imma an tajida minhu rihan muntinan." There are two examples: a good friend or a bad friend. A good friend is like a person, is like you relating to a person selling perfume. He can just donate to you a perfume, or you can just buy from him, or you can just sit close to him and then get that good scent. So we all need to relate to good friends who will help us at one time. So this man had to go to the prison to look for Yuusuf. Now when he reached to the prison, he said, يوسف أيها الصديق أفتنا في 7 بقرات سمان يأكلهن 7 عجاف و7 سنبلات خضر يابسات لعلي أرجو الناس لعلهم يعلمون. You tell us about a dream. Of course he greeted him. You say that he did not even greet the man. The greeting was there, but I mean that is something small. You can understand it by the what? By the knowledge of the humanity. He said that Yuusuf ayyuha Siddiq, you help us to interpret a dream whereby 7 fat cows are being eaten by 7 lean cows. 7 small cows, the tiny ones, are eating the 7 big ones. And then we see, the king also saw that 7 spikes which are raw, and then we also saw other spikes which are dry. So you help us to interpret so that I can go back to the people and then they get to know what does the dream mean. Actually, the dream caused a problem in the community. So Yuusuf did not say that, I told you to remember me in front of, but you refuse, so you are just coming with your problems, you want me to help you. No, he did not say that. So he started to break down the dream. قال تزرعون 7 سنين دأبا. Now the dream means that you will plant, you will grow food for 7 years consecutively. Da'aban, consecutively. Now, فَمَا حَصَدْتُمْ فَذَرُوهُ فِي سُنبُلِهِ. What you will harvest, what you will reap for every season. For example, this year, if you plant maize, before, during the time of reaping, when you reap 100 kilograms, you will reserve the biggest percentage, maybe 90% of it you reserve, and then you will eat 10%. تزرعون 7 سنين دأبا, you will plant for 7 consecutive years. فما حصدتم, what you will harvest, فذروه في سنبله, you leave them to in their spikes, because we don't want them to get spoiled. Are we together? إلا قليلا مما تأكلون, except you can remove a few that you'll be using to eat. And then he also said to the second part that ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك 7 شداد يأكلن ما قدمتم لهن إلا قليلا مما تحصنون. Then after that, after those 7 years in which you've been planting, there will come other 7 years of strong famine, strong drought. You will not receive even a single drop of rain. Now, in those dry years, the 7 dry years, you will eat the food that you reserved in the 7 what? In the other 7, in the previous 7 years. Are we together? So, he did not stop at that point. He said, this was not in the dream, but he just gave them an added advantage. ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك عام فيه يغاث الناس وفيه يصوم. Then after that you will come to another year, another single year, and then you will go back to your normal seasons. People will be healthy, rain will grow, and then people will be even able to make wine, bread, and then something like that. So Yuusuf alayhi salam successfully broken down the dream, and then this man hurriedly, very fast, rushed back to what? To the king, to explain what the case was. I guess even the king, I think he said that you gather everyone, I want everyone just now. So when this man came, he had to interpret the dream just like Yuusuf interpreted it for him. And the king was so surprised to hear that someone is in prison, but is of a great importance, even beyond these ones who are near me. So he told the man, go back very fast and bring that man. Yeah? Bring that man. If you are doing law, if you are here and you are doing law, I want to ask you, is it allowed for a president to just give an order that you release that person who is in prison? Is it allowed? Yes. Allowed. So we call that what?
So I want those that are saying no, raise up their hand. And you speak with evidence.
So actually, under the prerogative of the president, he can do that. He can do that. So when the king told that man that you go back and fetch Yuusuf from the prison, let him come in the what? In the palace. Is now of an importance. So when this man went to the prison to bring back Yuusuf told him, you first go back to the king, Fas'aluhu, and you ask him, Ma balu niswati allati qatta'na aydiyahun. What was the case of those ladies who cut their fingers? What was on their minds? Actually, here Yuusuf didn't want to say that you go and ask the wife of the king, because it was the king's wife who caused the problems, isn't it? But since the other lady raised him up, he gave him the care. He didn't want to expose the lady. He didn't want to tarnish the image of the lady. So he decided to pass through the ladies. He said, Irji' ila Fas'alu ma balu niswati. What was the reason? What was on their minds, those ladies who cut their fingers? Are we together? So Yuusuf actually didn't want to move out of the prison because he has done something good. he wanted to move out of the prison because he was innocent from the very beginning. So you go, I want to make sure that I was in prison because I was innocent, and that's when I will move out of the what? Of the prison. So this man rushed very fast, and then he went. So Khali Yakra, Chakra, you read from قال الملك ما خطبكن إذ راوتن يوسف.
وقال الملك ائتوني به فلما جاءه الرسول قال ارجع إلى ربك فاسأله ما بال النسوة اللاتي قطعن أيديهن إن ربي بكيدهن عليم. قال ما خطبكن إذ راوتن يوسف عن نفسه قلنا حاش لله ما علمنا عليه من سوء. قالت امرأة العزيز الآن حصحص الحق أنا راودته عن نفسه وإنه لمن الصادقين ذلك ليعلم أني لم أخنه بالغيب وأن الله لا يهدي كيد الخائنين.
So this man came back to the king, and then he told him that Yuusuf alayhi salam, he has said that you first gather the ladies and then ask them. Of course, Yuusuf, as I told you, he said the ladies, but for him, he believed that the king's wife will have to say something. So the king gathered the ladies and then asked them, Ma khatubukunna idh rawatunna Yusufa. What was on your mind when you admired Yusuf and then you decided to cut the fingers? So the ladies told the king, Ma alimna alayhi min su. We have never learned any evil from that man, from Yusuf. Actually, he was imprisoned, but the man is what? He's innocent. Now the king's wife had to say something. Al-ana has al-haq. Now the truth has become evident. Now this is where I say that you can do everything that you want, but when the truth comes, it will erase all the falsehood. You see, when these people who call themselves Christians, when Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, comes, everything will become evident, and then everyone will yearn to be a Muslim. And this is something you don't have to argue about. Behind the days, we've been telling people that a Muslim or a person should go in the toilet with water. And then the people were wondering, how can we touch there? How can we touch there? Really, sincerely, how can you touch there? Yeah? But it is now obvious. People are putting water even if you go to the wines, and should they find a toilet without water, they will complain. What is this toilet? I mean, it is local, it is not modern. We've been telling people early in the days that a male should have to circumcise. But shall we shed the blood? No, we can't. We cannot lose the blood. But now it is obvious everyone will have to circumcise, and it is by law. Altogether. So whenever the truth comes, it will create its roots, and then it will erase all the falsehood. So the king's wife had to say, Al-an has al-haq. Now the truth has become very evident. Ana rawatuhu an nafsihi. It is me who seduced the man. It is me who actually seduced the man. وَإِنَّهُ لَمِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And that was the very statement. وَإِنَّهُ لَمِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. But Yusuf alayhi salam is one of the truthful. Actually, we have not encountered any evil from that man. And then the king had to believe that what? That the man was imprisoned, but he was innocent. And then this man had to go back to tell him that now the king has learned your situation, and then he has got all the evidence. You are now free. You have no what? You have no any crime, any case. Now, Yuusuf said something that Sheikh is going to read وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي.
وما أبرئ نفسي إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء إلا ما رحم ربي إن ربي غفور رحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? I see you are very miserable. Where are the refreshments, by the way? We need them. Give me mine. Actually, you see, this is a very, actually, I just wanted you to get the energy. This is a very big ayah, and we are going to get something. Yuusuf alayhi salam, when this man went back and told him, Yuusuf gave a reason as to why he did that. He said, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. Before that, ذَلِكَ لِيَعْلَمَ أَنِّي لَمْ أَخُنْهُ بِالْغَيْبِ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي كَيْدَ الْخَائِنِينَ. I did that one because I wanted the king to know that I never betrayed him, even in his absence. I never betrayed him. Because Allah does not make plots of those who want mischief successful. He doesn't. So he added a very big statement that Wama Ubarri Nafsi. I do not acquaint myself. I don't say that I don't do evil. Actually, my heart can do something that is not good, but that one I did not do that case. So here it is said that every single soul will do evil. And that is a fact. You have to believe or deny, but it is a fact. It is a fact. If I have something, it is said that there are two things. There is what we call a stimulus. A stimulus is something that calls for a what? For a response. It means that whenever you have a stimulus, automatically you will have a what? A response. Now, what you see is a stimulus, will need a response. What you hear is a stimulus, will need a response. What you touch is a stimulus, will need a what? A response. But in between them, there is what determines the choice, and that one is the basis of judgment. It is choice. But it comes to a point that the choice will always take you to the negativity, will always take you to do negative. And that is what Yuusuf said. Inna nafsa la ammaratun bisu. The soul is always telling you to do evil. You take an example. When you're on TikTok, and then shake comes, what do? You can even rub the finger and you take him very far. You take him very far. You don't want that one. But when the process of taking him, you see someone who is half naked, you go back and retrieve. And then you have to watch. You say, you man, Netflix has brought a new one. Let me send it as a dedication, isn't it? This is not normally what we do. But wherever you see Mufti make, go back, go. Someone reciting Quran, go. But there is a musician. Okay, let's watch this one. So the soul will always tell you to do evil, and that is a fact. That is a fact. You ask yourself, what do you normally do when you are alone in the room, or when you are alone in your house? Isolation will always call for evil, because an idle mind is an evil mind, isn't it? So Yuusuf alayhi salam said, Inna nafsa la ammaratun bisu. The soul is always calling you to do evil. And here I don't want to see anyone purifying themselves that me I don't do evil. You know, me I don't do evil. No, you do evil. You do evil. Because the Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you have a paper, you say, I'm a teacher, I have to go by Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, you first say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Prophet said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ma min al-qulubi qalbun illa walahu sahabatun كسحابة القمر بينما القمر مضيء إذ علته سحابة فأظلم إذ تجلت عنه فأضاء. He said, there is not any single soul unless that soul is like a moon. You see, when the moon that produces light, when the moon is it shining or lighting? When the moon is shining, for example, it can come to a time when the cloud covers the light, and then the moon is not able to use its light to lighten what is below the cloud. And he said that even a soul is like that. Sometimes you feel you want to pray sunnah. It comes to a time when you pray sunnah, you read Quran, you go early in the mosque. But it comes to a time when the cloud covers your soul and you are not able to use the light of your soul to see what is good. And that's what the Prophet said, that every soul is like a moon. It normally experiences a cloud and it will cover the light, and then the moon will not be able to produce the light. But it comes to a time when the cloud moves away and the soul will be able to use the light to see altogether. So everyone will have to do what? Will have to do at least that one evil. And that one, it should be there. It must be there. So you shouldn't be praising yourself that you do not do what? Bad. Are we together? Actually, the Prophet ﷺ said in another tradition that فوالله الذي لا إله غيره إن أحدكم لا يعمل بعمل أهل الجنة حتى ما يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع فيسبق عليه الكتاب فيعمل بعمل أهل النار فيدخلها وإن أحدكم لا يعمل بعمل أهل النار حتى ما يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع فيسبق عليه الكتاب فيعمل بعمل أهل الجنة فيدخلها. You can praise yourself that you do good, you pray, you do everything, but you may end up doing that single thing that will cause you to deviate and then enter hellfire. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. But you can be doing some evil, and time comes and you do something good and you end on that one, and then you enter what? You enter Al-Jannah. You enter what? Al-Jannah. Listen. Therefore, I want to say this, that every one of us should just be conscious of their souls, not to engage, to enjoy in what? In doing bad. However, he said, إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبِّي, except that one who Allah has given what? His mercy. So it means that you praying 5 times a day is not your own wish, but it is because Allah has given you His mercy. You praying sunnah or fasting the white days, fasting Monday and Thursday is not your own will, but it is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you mercy, and it is that mercy that you're using to pray, you're using to fast, you're using to be good to your friend. And we should always seek for Allah's mercy. Actually, in the daily adhkars that we do make every morning and evening, the Prophet said that it is good you say that Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Can you just say that one? Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum.
Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum.
Birahmatika astaghith.
Birahmatika astaghith.
Aslih li sha'ni kullahu.
أصلح لي شأني كله
ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين.
ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين.
That is a supplication you need to make every morning and evening. What does it mean? Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, oh Allah, the living. Al-Qayyum, the sustainer. Bi-Rahmatika astaghith, it is with your mercy, that I seek what? Refuge. I seek hope and guidance. Aslih li sha'ni kullahu, rectify, straighten all my affairs, wala takirni ila nafsi tarfat ayn, not let all my affairs in my hands, even if it is for a moment of a blink of an eye. So you should always seek for hope and guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to do evil, but to do righteousness. Are we together? Yes. Salam.
Just a moment, please. I kindly request that we have a distinction or a line that separates us between the females and males, because it seems we are mixing up. Maybe those who are this side, within the lines of the door, you can come and join in front here. There is space. There is space. Acha chewakulu ali kumulyango. Seka biscuit. Acha chewe. Acha ali kumulyango. Oyo acha chajiwa biscuit.
وقال الملك ائتوني به أستخلصه لنفسي فلما كلمه قال إنك اليوم لدينا مكين أمين قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم وكذلك مكنا ليوسف في الأرض يتبوأ منها حيث يشاء نصيب برحمتنا من نشاء ولا نضيع أجر المحسنين.
So they had to agree, and then Yuusuf had to come from the what? From the prison, because he was innocent, as we had agreed earlier. So when he came to the palace, the king told him, "Innaka al-yawma ladayna makinun." I mean, you have today a very big place in our kingdom. In actually, to be very simple, you choose any responsibility that you want, and I will make no any intermediate between me and you. You will be reaching out to me anytime without any messengers. That is what happened. So when Yuusuf alayhi salam came, that is what happened. But before that, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you also said that one, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are you ready? Man asbaha minkum aminan fi sirbihi mu'afa fi jasadihi indahu qutu yawmihi faka'annama hizat lahu dunya bihadhafiriha. Whoever wakes up in the morning aminan fi sirbihi, when he's having security in his place. That was the first thing. Number two, mu'afa fi jasadi, when he's having health of the body. Then number three, indahu qutu yawmihi, when he's having the food to eat on that day. It's like Allah has gathered all the world, you're having it in your hands. So actually, if you were to be very critical, anything that tampers with any of those three will cause distortion in the community. Anything that tampers with security of the place. You know what happened in COVID-19? Anything that tampers with health of the people will cause distortion in the community. Anything that causes inadequacy of food will cause distortion of the community. You remember what took place in the French Revolution? I asked one of my friends in the room that what caused the French Revolution. He said that one of the causes is that the bread was hiked, the prices were hiked, and people were not able to access the food. So Yuusuf alayhi salam, when he was told to choose any responsibility, as a wise man, he looked in this situation. It is me who has deciphered the dream that people will starve for 7 years and we need to prepare food in advance. So he chose wisely that, no, what we do, let me take over the storehouses of the place, because he wanted to make sure that the issue is handled well. Let us not reach a point in the other 7 years of drought when the king will face so many challenges of feeding people, because even the rich people can decide to hide the food. Why? Is because they want to impeach their king from the kingdom. He has failed to manage the people. So Yuusuf, as a wise man, he said that in those periods, those 7 years of drought, people will face a hunger and the kingdom will be at a risk. So let me take over the storehouses of the place. Inni hafidhun Alimun. It is because for two things. One, hafizun, I know how to keep. Number two, alimun, I have the what? I have the knowledge. And that's what we don't always do. When you're writing an application, you write and then put why do you think you are the one? Why do you think you are the one? Are we together? So he said, Inni hafizun alim. I have the knowledge and I have what? I can keep very well. Actually, here I wanted to say something, but because of time, I may not say. Sometimes, you see, one of the signs of the day of judgment is that responsibility will be given to those who do not qualify for it. إذا وسد الأمر إلى غير أهله فانتظر الساعة. If responsibility is given to one who does not qualify for it, then you wait the day of judgment. It is one of the signs of the day of judgment. It is what happens now. Leadership is given to people who are not even competent enough. It is because they give us a false image. We think that they are competent enough. But even then, the public also has a crime there, because they normally judge, they have an inverted judgment of their candidates. Because of the 1,000, you twist the mind and then you decide to go with the what? With someone who is not competent. Actually, if I have my taxi, if I have a taxi, and then I say we're having two drivers, one is blind and then the other one is a very normal person, but the blind one is putting on goggles, you may think it's very good. So for you will choose that, let's go with the other, since it's looking nice, let's go with that one. Now he will drive you and then he will put you in the road, in the potholes, and then you will complain. So the public is responsible for electing leaders who are not competent, but the very public will come around to criticize. I mean, the regime has been very fake. It is because you chose that one. It is because of your own being. So we need to choose wisely. So Yuusuf said, Inni hafizun alim. And indeed was given that responsibility of taking over the storehouses of the place, I mean Egypt. To be sincere, he was the minister of agriculture. That is an animal husbandry, if I'm to say. Yuusuf alayhi salam. From nowhere, you see, from the village to the well, to the palace, to the prison, now a minister. You see, sometimes you can go through a lot, but Allah is planning for you. I say, Allah is planning for you. May Allah plan for us. Amen. Do you also want to be in a state house?
وجاء إخوة يوسف فدخلوا عليه فعرفهم وهم له منكرون ولما جهزهم بجهازهم قال ائتوني بأخ لكم من أبيكم ألا ترون أني أوفي الكيل وأنا خير المنزلين فإن لم تأتوني به فلا كيل لكم عندي ولا تقربون قالوا سنراود عنه أباه وإنا لفاعلون وقال لفتيانه اجعلوا بضاعتهم في رحالهم لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون فلما رجعوا إلى أبيهم قالوا يا أبانا منع منا الكيل فأرسل معنا أخانا نكتل وإنا له لحافظون.
شكرا يا شيخ عبد البر من جزء القمر. Comoros in Arabic we say جزء القمر. Is that? Yes. Actually, the thing happened like Yuusuf had prophesied. He said that he will plant for 7 years. So when he was appointed, actually they planted, real planning for 7 consecutive years. But what they were harvesting, they were putting it in stores. Now, a time came when there was severe drought in the place. Not only in Egypt, but the whole place, the whole world, if I'm to say. So people from other places had to look for wherever food is. And then they had to look to locate Egypt. So even the brothers who were in Canaan by then, they had to travel from that place to go to Egypt because they had, it is where there is what? Adequate food. So they gathered metrics and metrics of ton that wasn't even, that it was not only enough for the people of Egypt, but was also enough to feed other parts of the world. So it came to a time when the brothers in the village were also toiling. The drought has reached those ends. So they had to come to Egypt to seek for what? For food. Because wherever food is, there is what? There is security. You say, in local language, they say that it comes from eating. How do you say that thing in your language? Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. So, the brothers came. فَدَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ, and he recognized them that these are my what? They are my brothers. The 10 brothers came to look for food. He recognized. Of course, even if you go to America and then you find, you see someone, you say, by mere virtue that this one is having a longer nose, he must be of my clan. Then you ask, are you a Ugandan? You say, yes. From where? I will not say the place. Are we together? I will not say the place. So, you can tell someone. So when they came, Yuusuf recognized them. وَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. But they never knew the man, that this is our brother. Because they expected the man to be dead. We threw the man in the well. I mean, how can he be a minister in another land? They expected him to be dead. So they did not know the man. So they said, we want food. And then Yuusuf said, of course, that is a very long journey. They cannot go back and forth in a single day. So they had to sleep in Egypt, maybe for a day or two. But he organized for them the luggages and the food that they wanted in adequacy. And then the money they gave Yuusuf said, no, you give them the back, you give the money back to them, but you put in the what? In the luggages. But he told them, of course he had engaged with them in a conversation that, how many are you in your home? Who is your father? And he got to know of them in details. So when they were leaving, he told them, next time as you're coming to fetch more food, come with your other brother from your daddy's side, that is Binyamin. Come with him, not knowing that this is their brother, but they don't know him. So he's calling for his what? For his brother to come. So he sensed it that these people may lack the money to use then. So he decided to tell the servants that you put their money back in the luggages. لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم. Yes, so that they can return as soon as possible. I want them to come with the what? With the brother. So they say that سنراود عنه أباه, we shall campaign the father. You know, the father is not easy to give us Binyamin, but we shall try to campaign him and he will give us, we shall come, don't worry. So when they went back home, they said, Ya Abana Muni Amin al-Kairu, they have denied us the measurements next time as we go. Unless we go with who? With Binyamin. Let's go with our brother. And then they will give us what? Food. The father said, Hal amanukum alayhi illa kama amintukum. You want me to trust you with this man just like I entrusted you with Yuusuf and you went and throw in the man? Of course he didn't know that one. You want me to entrust you again with another one? That is total madness. I will not do that one. So he refused in the first place. So they had to open the luggages. Luckily enough, they found the money in the luggages. And this is what Yuusuf thought of before. So they came back to the what? To the dad. Dad, the money is here. What are we waiting for? Let's just go back. Let's go and add some meals. What we have is very little, will not be enough for our community. Let's go back before the food gets over the other side. So since the dad was only one and this was a group and there is a problem of food, so dad said, "Lan usilahu ma'akum hatta tu'tuni mawthiqan min." I will not send you with Binyamin until you come, until you actually you give me, you swear, you give me an oath that you will not do evil to this boy that I'm sending you with, like you did last time. Are we together? So they had to take an oath. We shall not what? We shall not lose the brother in the way. So he had to send them with the brother. Go. But he told them, لا تدخلوا من باب واحد وادخلوا من أبواب متفرقة. When you go back, don't use one gate. Because those who study Arabian history, Arab history, you will see that cities, more so where the king used to reside, were built, were surrounded by what? A perimeter wall. and there were gates. You couldn't just access the city. You can go on Google if you want. You say the circled city or the old city. It had gates. So Egypt, it said that by then it had 4 gates. So they told them, when you enter, don't use one gate. But he didn't say that one alone. He said, وَدْخُلُوا مِنْ أَبْوَابٍ مُتَفَرِّقَةٍ. Don't use one gate. Now, when you give instructions, you must be very clear. If you say don't use one gate, we shall use 2 gates. But he said, don't use one gate, but use different what? Gates, to be clear. Now, it is said that he wanted to prevent them from an evil eye. Because the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Prophet said, إذا رأى أحدكم من نفسه أو ماله أو من أخيه ما يعجبه فليدعو له بالبركة فإن العين حق. If you happen to see something on yourself, something beautiful like the council that maybe my phone is good, or you happen to see something good from your friend, you pray Allah gives barakah in that thing. You say, Masha Allah, Tabarakallah. If I show you that I've brought this new iPhone, this is not your iPhone, of course, someone I brought this new iPhone. Don't say that, wow. Just pray. You say, Masha Allah, Tabarakallah. Masha Allah, Tabarakallah. You can say, Masha Allah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Because why? The Prophet said, Innal ayna haqqun. An evil eye is real. And he said in another narration that al-aynu tudkhilu ar-rajula al-qabra wa tudkhilu al-jamala al-qidra. An evil eye can make a man who has been alive very normal. It can make him enter a grave. And it can make a camel or a cow. It has been very normal in the day, but it can make that cow to enter the saucepan. Because someone can just look at the cow and then the cow can fall sick, and then you call you come and slaughter, the cow is dying. You come and slaughter and then you put the cow in the saucepan. It's because of the evil eye. Are we together? So the Prophet said, an evil eye is real. So you always seek protection from the evil eye. So Yaqub alayhi salam told them that don't use one word. Use so many gates to protect them from an evil eye. But some books say that he did that because he didn't want them to follow into traps. Because people will assume that, this group, why are you surrounding Egypt? Every now and then you're coming back. Do you want to cordon the place? Do you want to surround the place? Do you want to kill the king? So it would cause insecurity. So he decided to say, you enter through different gates. Are we together? And that's what they did. When they went, they entered through different gates, and then they had to access Yuusuf alayhi salam to get some measurements. Now when Yuusuf saw them, he made them to sleep. Of course, I told you that it's a very long way. You cannot just go back and forth and then you sleep. He told them to sleep that day, but he made them to sleep two. And then Binyamin was remaining alone. So he decided to take Binyamin with him in the room. So in the room there, Binyamin, I think he must have ate chicken that day, because this is now the brother. So he told him, he unmasked himself, he unveiled that, Ana Yuusuf. Ana akhuka fala tabtais bima kan. I'm your brother, so do not get what are those people were doing before. I'm your brother. So Binyamin said, hey, Baba. These days we say, Kabulaza, this is Kabulaza. So for us, we are suffering. You're a minister here. You're a minister here. So that's it. By the way, I also have here my brother, Paula. You can say salam to these people. They don't know you actually. You stand by that one is not even the second. It's already, if I'm to say for that one may be the fourth or something like that.
What about you?
I'm the fifth. So he told them now. He told him that I'm your what? I'm your brother. I'm your brother. Don't worry. Now the man must have ate well, he must have slept on a mosquito net that day. And things were well off that day, I think. Now, I think they must have they must have negotiated in the room that, you know what, I will make some plans so that you remain with me where? You say in Egypt. So that you remain with me where? In Egypt. But everything will run. No, just keep quiet, just observe. Everything will run. Don't act out anything. So when it came to the morning, they finished to make the luggages. The other people have gotten their food. Now they hid the measuring bowl or a cup. He made the servants hide the measuring bowl in the brothers' luggage, in the luggage of Binyamin. So when these people were moving back home, a caller called, Ayyatuha al-'ir, oh you the convoy, the caravan going, Innakum lasariqun. Innakum lasariqun. Now I want to tell you something in Arabic. I don't know whether I have time. In Arabic language, before you say a statement, you advise to first look at whom are you telling the statement. If you see that this man is an ordinary man, has no idea of what I'm going to tell him. For example, if I want to say that I'm a student, I can just say ana twalibu. It is enough. But if I see that this person will deny, will argue with me, I make the statement strong. So what do I say? I say inni twalibu. In fact, I'm a student. But if I see that this man is again going to argue, I can again add another strong statement. I say, Inni la twalibu. But if I say that still the argument is still here, I can say, Wallahi inni la twalibu. And if the argument persists, you also make the statement strong. You say, Wallahi fatura samawat wal ard inni la twalibu. Until the man accepts. Now, Yuusuf alayhi salam, he wanted to use a statement that will cause those people to deny in the first place. And then what did they say? They said, Ayyatuha al-'ir, innakum lasariqun. You see? In fact, indeed, you are thieves. Then the people said, Qalu wa aqbalu alayhi. These people actually were not thieves, isn't it? They weren't thieves. So, but that statement bounced in their minds. These people are saying that we are thieves. They had to deny in the first place, and that is what we wanted. We wanted them to deny the false accusation, then we begin the plot. So when they called them back, they said, but when they said, this one told them that, Innakum lasariqun, indeed, in fact, you're thieves, they had to turn and come back. They didn't say that, what have we stolen? They said, Madha tafkidun, what are you missing? You see, when you make a statement, you have to be very wise. If someone says that you have stolen my book, then say, what have I stolen? It means you can steal. It means you can steal. But when someone says you have stolen my pen, you say, what are you missing? What are you missing? Isn't it? And this is so. These people advise us that whenever you go to a police station to make a statement, wait for your lawyer, isn't it? Don't say anything before the lawyer comes, because you will fall into traps, even if you're innocent, but you can make a statement that will put you in the prison, isn't it? So these people, they came and then they denied the accusation. They said, لَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا جِئْنَا لِنُفْسِدَ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَمَا كُنَّا سَارِقِينَ. You knew we never came here to create havoc in the place, and we have not been thieves. We are not thieves. And that is what we wanted. So Yuusuf had to ask them. He had to ask them, فَمَا جَزَاؤُهُ إِن كُنتُمْ. What will be the reward if we find that one of you is having our property? What will be the reward? Now, Yuusuf alayhi salam asked them of the reward, because by then, in Egypt, if they caught you when you have stolen, the punishment that was that they kill you. But in this brother's place, when you steal, you serve as a slave to that person who is the owner of that thing that you stole, isn't it? That you stole. For example, if this one steals my phone, and we happen to know that it's him who has stolen the phone, he will come and serve as a servant, as a maid in my home for a period of 1 or 2 years. That was the case. So Yuusuf didn't want to use the laws of Egypt because they will kill the brother. So he wanted to ask them to propose the punishment of their place because he wanted to remain with the brother. You know that? So he said that جزاؤه ما وجد في رحله فهو جزاؤه. The reward is that whoever you get it with him, you will serve as the reward. You will take control of his, because every man will serve their problems. Don't. And this is why I say that if you go and borrow money from your friend, you pay the money back. Why do you decide to be a thief? A man has to stand in their problems. You stand as a man to clear the money. Don't wait to come over and over again. You pay back, as if it was the same case as you were coming for the money. So Yuusuf had to start with the brother's luggages, and later on he got the bowel in the brother's what? Luggage, in Binyamin's luggage. So they had to detain him. So we are remaining with Binyamin. You go back home. But we had made an oath with dad. We have to go back with the boy. No, we're not sending you back with the what? With the boy, Binyamin. So he's remaining with us. So they said to plead, but Yuusuf alayhi salam denied. Because you know what you want. You want to remain with the brother. You want him to eat chicken and chipusi and what else? Everything. So, and that's how we remained with Binyamin in Egypt. We remained with Binyamin in Egypt. Sheikh Abdul Bari, take a look at
ارجعوا إلى أبيكم فقولوا يا أبانا إن ابنك سرق. قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا فخذ أحدنا مكانه إنا نراك من المحسنين. قال معاذ الله أن نأخذ إلا من وجدنا متاعنا عنده إنا إذا لظالمون. فلما استيئسوا منه خلصوا نجيا. قال كبيرهم ألم تعلموا أن أباكم قد أخذ عليكم موثقا من الله ومن قبل ما فرطتم في يوسف فلن أبرح الأرض حتى يأذن لي أبي أو يحكم الله لي وهو خير الحاكمين.
When it was like that, we wanted to remain with them. The brothers pleaded Yuusuf to give them that you at least let's exchange. You take one of us, but you give us Binyamin, because you had made an oath with the one, that. But Yuusuf alayhi salam said no. You should know that Sheikh Shafiq has reminded me that I should tell you that Binyamin and Yuusuf had the same mother, but of course the same dad. But the other brothers, they had a different what? Different mother. So you know the love, the bond of the mother, the mother's bond. Actually, in Islam, it is the brother that you share with we call them, you share both mom and dad. That one is the strongest. And then next is the one you share with only the dad, isn't it? Only the dad, the father. And then the last one, the one you share with only the what? The mom. But you know that the one you share only with the mom becomes stronger than that one of the father. Are you aware? Yes. So Binyamin and Yuusuf were from what? The same mother. The same mother. So Yuusuf alayhi salam, that's how he remained with the what? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ كِدْنَا لِيُوسُفَ مَا كَانَ لِيَأْخُذَ أَخَاهُ فِي دِينِ الْمَلِكِ. That's how we plotted for Yuusuf, because he wouldn't have managed to remain with the brother. They would have killed the brother, because the brothers fall into a trap of stealing. They would have killed, but Allah gave a plan to Yuusuf how to tell a brother, and then the brother will be safe in the hands without not being killed. And the brothers pleaded to give them Binyamin, but they denied, so they had to go back. There are so many ones there, but because of time I want to skip some of them. Now when they went back, they told the dad that inna benaka saraka, your son, your son. But before that they said, you send our brother, let's go with our brother. But when the brother stolen, they said, your son has stolen. they now deny that is not our brother, is now your what? Your son. Inna benaka saraka, your son has stolen. And that is how people will, whenever you are in problems, they will decide to deny you. When you're sick, those people will decide to deny you that we were telling them not to go there. They will leave you in problems, except a few. So when they went, they said, Inna benaka saraka, your son has what? Has stolen. We are not giving except what we saw by ourselves. We saw the people getting the property from the luggage. We never knew what was taking, what was transpiring in the night. Maybe as we were sleeping, this man decided to cocoon around and then steal. We didn't know what was transpiring in the night. Or if we had known that he will steal, we would have left him behind. But we were not aware of what will take place then. So we decided to go with him. But he has stolen, and unfortunately, he has been detained in what? In Egypt. So the dad thought they had killed the brother. So he said, Fasabrun Jamilun. Patience is always the good option. Actually, if you're patient, everything will come in its own time. You don't need rush. There is a bait that, but because of time, إنك لن تبلغ المجد حتى تلقى الصبر. الصبر كالصبر مر في مذاقته لكن عواقبه أحلى من العسل. Patience is like medicine. You see, when you're taking Panadol, it's very sour. But the end result of that bitterness or the sour is good. And that is patience. It will always come with challenges, but the end result of you being patient will always be good. And trust me, it will be good because it is Allah who said this. So the father had to give up, and then things had to run. So it came to a time when the brothers again had to come back to what? To Egypt to fetch more food. So they told they said, let's go back and get more food. When they went back to Egypt, that's when Yuusuf alayhi salam unmasked himself, because they went and said, you start from there, Sheikh. When they went back, قالوا يا أيها العزيز مسنا وأهلنا الضر.
فلما دخلوا عليه قالوا يا أيها العزيز مسنا وأهلنا الضر وجئنا ببضاعة مزجاة فأوف لنا الكيل وتصدق علينا إن الله يجزي المتصدقين. قال هل علمتم ما فعلتم بيوسف وأخيه إذا أنتم جاهلون. قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف. قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي قد من الله علينا إنه من يتق ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين.
Actually, it came to a time when at home they had no money. Money is not there because you buying food for a whole village, it is not something good. You see, what normally challenges the dads at home is the wife producing 5 boys. You know, boys when they reach that stage. Actually, in my place, not to be honest, I lived with my grandma, and we were only 2. Me, I have my brother called Jamal. But it happened that when the grandmom is around, she can prepare a half kilogram. By that time we were in P7, half kilogram, and she will say that we are eating supper and breakfast half kilograms. But when she said that I'm leaving you with this money, I'm going in the village, I will come back tomorrow. For us, we cook 1 kilogram, and that 1 kilogram we eat it the same day. Because normally for us we have a saying, let's eat it all and then we do other businesses. Yes, that was the one. So, buying food for a whole village is not something good. So it came to a time when there was no money. So they just have to go back and then plead, Yuusuf, Masana wa ahlana burru. Actually, the situation at home is not good. Altogether, just help us. You can give us. We have only come with very little money. وَجِئْنَا بِبِضَاعَةٍ مُزْجَاةٍ فَأَوْفِ لَنَا الْكَيْلَ. We have come with little money, but we want you to give us plenty of what? of the measurements. Inna Allah yajzil mutasaddiqin, because Allah will always reward those who do charity to others. So just give us charity and then give us full measurements, even though we have come with very little money. Then that's when Yuusuf alayhi salam removed the cover for the brothers to know. Hal alimtum ma. We are now nearing the end. Actually, we have started the beginning of the end of the story. So he removed the mask and then said, Hal alimtum ma fa'altum bi Yusufa idh antum jahilun. Did you know what you did to Yusuf when you were unaware, when you were ignorant of the situation, of the consequences? So how do you come to know about Yusuf? Innaka la anta, how do you call that one? Al-khabaru al-inkari min haythu al-balagha. Innaka la anta Yusufa. Are you, in fact, indeed, are you the one calling? Are you Yusuf? In other words, are you Yusuf? Because you're worried. Are you Yusuf? Then Yusuf. قال أنا يوسف. وإني دامه يوسف عليه السلام. وهذا أخي. And this one is what? It's my brother. It's Binyamin. قد من الله علينا. Allah has given us what? His favors. I mean, you moving from the place, you come to a place where no one knows you, but you end up becoming what? A minister. Here you can become a minister for your information. Takun waziran. So Allah says, Innahu man yattaqi, whoever becomes pious and is having faith, wayasbir, and he becomes what? Patient. Inna Allah man yattaqi wasbir. Inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin. Now, in that point, I want to mention something. You see, we have seen the word muhsinin in Surah Yusuf for quite a number of times. Before that, Allah says, وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. That was when Yusuf was still a youth. And when Yusuf went in the prison, those guys said, إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين. For the second time, that was in prison. Now when he came out of the prison with the brothers, they said فخذ أحدنا مكانه إنا نراك من المحسنين. So it means that Yusuf did not lose the title of being a good person, whether he was a youth, or he was in prison, or he was as a minister. And these are the three moments where we get astray. Number one is when you are a youth. You know what comes with a youth. It is when you feel that you can beat everyone. Like for my case. When you're youth, it is when you think that you are more knowledgeable than anyone else in the community. And whatever they will try to advise you, and let's do this, let's do this. You say, but that one is simple. It is when you think that you are more knowledgeable and you always do evil. You can climb over the water and then do all the evil around. That is youth. But Yusuf, in that situation of puberty, of youthhood, did not lose the track. He was min al-muhsinin. He was amongst those who did goodness. And when he was, the next time where we get astray is when we are in problems. But Yusuf, when he was in a problem of being in a prison, he did not lose the track. He still remained min al-muhsinin altogether. And the other time where we get astray is when we are well off. We're having the money, we can access everything that we want. I mean, everything is around. That's where we get astray. But still, Yusuf did not lose the journey. Still remained min al-muhsinin altogether. And we should also do the same. We should make a name. We should make a good name. That wherever someone mentions your name, that it is Talaha. It is Talaha. They will get that good picture. That this one who normally recites the Quran. But whatever I say, whom are you saying? They say we are saying who? We are saying Abdurrahman. Now Abdurrahman is a very stubborn element around. So actually, they say in a poem that you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. We have lifted your what? Your name. Everyone mentions you. How many of you do you mention Prophet Muhammad's name every day? Not even once. Every day we are mentioning the name of the Prophet. Every day the name of Prophet Ibrahim. Every day. So Allah raised his dhikr. We mention about him every day, and it should be we should also be like that. It means that in the comment, wherever they mention about your name, they should get that good picture. Now, one of the poets said that دقات قلب المرء قائلة له إن الحياة دقائق وثواني فارفع لنفسك بعد موتك ذكرها فالذكر للإنسان عمر ثاني. That the heartbeats, دقات قلب المرء, heartbeats of a person, they always tell him that life is made out of seconds and minutes. Whenever you had it is warning that life is not but made up of seconds and minutes. So he said that فَارُفَعْ لِنَفْسِكَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِكَ ذِكْرَهَا. You make a very good name that will sound when you die. Why? فَالذِّكْرُ لِلْإِنسَانِ عُمُرٌ ثَانٍ. It's because a good mentioning, if they mention good about you, that is like second life. You are now having a second life. Are we together? And of course you get reward, because normally Allah will reward you from what you have done yourself and what you are a reason for making that thing. ما قدموا وآثارهم. What you did yourself and what you are the reason for that thing to be in place. If you are the reason of a mosque, of having a mosque in the place, you will still remain with that reward, and people will still mention that it was so and so who donated the land, and that good mentioning about you will earn your rewards even if you die. Altogether. So Yuusuf did not lose the track in all the three dangerous stages: as a youth, and someone in problems, and someone who is very rich, is well off. Altogether. So Sheikh Abdul Bari, tabda.
قال لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين. اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي يأت بصيرا وأتوني بأهلكم أجمعين. ولما فصلت العير قال أبوهم إني لأجد ريح يوسف لولا أن تفندون. قالوا تالله إنك لفي ضلالك القديم. فلما أن جاء البشير ألقاه على وجهه فارتد بصيرا قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون.
Actually, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? You see, this story is entirely rotating on one person. Who can mention that person? Tola, before you go. Who is that? Who can mention that person? Yuusuf alayhi salam. But there is a hidden character. There is a hidden character in the story. Who is that one? Yaqub. So it means that you can be someone, but you must be having someone supporting you behind. Every parent. So Yaqub was behind the story as a hidden character, but was also in the story altogether. So Yuusuf alayhi salam, the brothers confessed that please, indeed we were wrong, and then we didn't know what was taking place that day by that time. But we say you seek, you hope us seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Yuusuf made a very big statement that I want to share with you right now. He said, "La tathriba alaykum al-yawma." There will not be any blame upon you from today. Yaghfirullahu lakum. Allah will do what? He forgive you. And you know what these brothers caused to Yuusuf. The pain, you see, exiling you from a place. You take an example. If someone comes to your home and then say that we are going to chase you from your home, that is very big, because normally where you live, people are normally resistant to change. You know that. Even if you study from this your lecture room, when they say next lecture you're going to the new library, you say, but why do we go there? Because humanity is always resistant to change, isn't it? So, but these brothers, they caused Yuusuf to be exiled at a tender age in a new land where he had no relatives. He ended up in a prison with all the challenges. But at the end, Yuusuf said to them, "La tathriba alaykum al-yawma." There will not be any blame upon you from today. Yaghfirullahu lakum. Allah will forgive you. So in whether someone has done or what, there is always room for forgiveness. Whether what, there is always room for forgiveness, and we should always do that. We should always use that room for forgiveness. And when you forgive, don't again come back in the previous stories. I've forgiven you. But when you meet next time, did you remember that I forgave you? But if it wasn't for that, you see, they say in a poem that وَظُلْمُ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى أَشَدُّ مَضَاضَةً عَلَى الْمَرْءِ مِنْ وَقْعِ الْحُسَامِ الْمُهَنَّدِ. Injustice that you do on a relative, أَشَدُّ مَضَاضَةً, it is so much paining. Min waqa'il husam al-muhannadi. Now those days they used to make swords. There were no guns. They used to make swords. But the best of the swords were the swords that came from India. So they said that the injustice that you do on a relative, it is so much paining than when someone uses a sword to cut you. He uses a sword from India to cut you. Of course, it was so much paining. But if someone did injustice and is one of your relatives, you not forget. You don't forget. You say, my brother, my own, to betray me. It will stay. You remain with that thing in your heart. But Yuusuf alayhi salam, he said, La tathriba alaykum al-yawma. There is no any other blame upon you from today. Yaghfirullahu lakum. Allah will forgive you. Are we together? So, what happened next is that Yuusuf alayhi salam, you heard the stories that the dad had gone blind because of the what? Because of the agony, the pain, the suffering of losing the sons. The father had gone blind. So he gave them the cow, go and throw it in the father's face, and then the father will be healed. You will start seeing. But you get all your relatives, come with them to Egypt now. Come and let them come to Kampala. No, Ginger. Tell them to come to Ginger. Tell them to come to Ginger. Of course, that's the way. So this is a point that whenever you are having, and Allah has raised you to a certain level, please don't be alone. Don't share the privileges alone. Call your relatives. Call that single grandfather of yours who used to take dry tea. I don't know why they call it dry tea, but let me believe it is not dry, isn't it? So if Allah has raised you to a certain level, don't remain alone. Don't enjoy the privileges alone. You share. You share, and that one will now become the basis of Allah's mercy upon you, and then adding you more and more blessings and favors. Are we together? Now, everybody, I think we read the last part. Chapter قل هذه سبيل. قل هذه سبيل. أدعو الله قل هذه سبيل. قل هذه سبيل.
قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين وما أرسلنا من قبلك إلا رجالا نوحي إليهم من أهل القرى أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فينظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلهم ولدار الآخرة خير للذين اتقوا أفلا تعقلون حتى إذا استيأس الرسل وظنوا أنهم قد كذبوا جاءهم نصرنا فنجي من نشاء ولا يرد بأسنا عن القوم المجرمين لقد كان في قصصهم عبرة لأولي الألباب ما كان حديثا يفترى ولكن تصديق الذي بين يديه وتفصيل كل شيء وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون.
Now, you remember how we started the story? We started with Yuusuf dreaming and that 11 stars, the sun and the moon were prostrating, isn't it? So when he called them to come now to Ginger in the city, all the family members come now and enjoy. Everyone will eat rice, chicken, everything will be there. No worries. So when they came, Yuusuf raised the parents on the throne, and then all of them had to prostrate for Yuusuf as a sign of respect, not as a sign of worshipping Yuusuf alayhi salam. So that was the dream. It came to be true after a very long period of time. Actually, let me say something. Between your goal and you achieving that goal is a very big period of time that you don't know, that Allah knows. So let Allah run the period, just be patient. So it is said that Yuusuf, when he had that dream, and him observing how the dream takes place, it was a period of 40 years. Actually, it took 40 years for him to experience that the parents and the brothers prostrated to him. It was after 40 years. So you don't need to rush things. Let the things flow normally. You will receive what you want. That is if Allah has written it on you. If He has not written it on you, you will not receive it. Even though you run west and south, north and east, you will not get it unless Allah has written it on you. So Yuusuf alayhi salam experienced the goal of the dream. The brothers and the dad and the mom prostrated for him. Alhamdulillah. But he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "Qul, you Prophet Muhammad, tell them, هذه سبيلي, this is my what? My way. أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة. I call people towards what? Allah على بصيرة, على علم. I call people to enjoy goodness, but with knowledge. Don't just call them. You have to have knowledge and then call people. Every one of us, every single one of us is a da'i. You are entitled to call that single person you're living with in the room to come for salah. You are a da'i, but you have to do that with knowledge. Don't just say, if you don't pray, you see, me have told you, if you don't pray, you enjoy them in goodness because you do that one out of knowledge altogether. But in knowledge, you do not have to judge others. Actually, you engage them, don't judge them, and do not criticize them, but rather advise them always to do goodness. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the interest of time, we shall stop at that point, and it marks the end of the story. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. We have been traversing in Surah Yuusuf. It is chapter 12 of the Holy Quran. It has 111 verses. And Yuusuf alayhi salam is regarded as the most beautiful creature or handsome creature, maybe in the male universe. And then it is said that he took 50% of the beauty, and we share the other 50. So some one of us is maybe 10, the other one is 20, others are negatives. But that has been the story. And I want to say that for purposes of record, we shall remain at that point. Allah Ta'ala a'ala wa a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, one of the philosophers, one of the greatest African philosophers is called P.R. Professor Lumumba. Patrick, he says that however good you are, however sweet you are, however bad you are, you must go. So Sheikh has been exquisite, he has been good, he has been eloquent, he has been wonderful, he has been sweet, everything you know. But he has now done what? He now must go, isn't it? And when you talk about beauty, I think Abdul Karim Suga has 20% of the beauty. MashaAllah. Now, as we complete this session of Prophet Yuusuf Part 2, we had Part 1 last Thursday, and whoever wasn't around, you can visit our YouTube channel. That is Qibla Media. Just go to YouTube, just type Qibla Media, and you will see us. You will see me and my friends, inshallah. And are you what? Learn your religion, Islam. You will see part 1 and other halakas, inshallah. We can now have a few questions, 1 or 2, about the story, and inshallah, one from this side, one from this side. Questions? No questions? None. This is our Sheikh Hassan, one of our senior technicians in the university, engineers, so we can ask a question here.
The question sounded a bit funny, but I heard it from my place that at first we had no these lines in our hands.
We had no lines in our hands.
Yeah. I think it was just plain. Now after that is the of Yuusuf and those who look at themselves.
Yuusuf, you are with you, what line is it? That is the question here. Right? Is it because of Yuusuf that we have these lines? Do you have another question from this side? No,
in the dream that the king dreamed, there were 2 parts. The small cows eating the big ones, then the spikes. But he only translated the spikes, but not the small cows eating the big ones.
Okay, thank you. He will answer precisely, inshallah. Please, Anna.
Bismillah. Let me start with Brother Sami's question. Now, there are so many things. Actually, I think you need to share with us, and you need to organize something about the true stories and Israeliyat. Actually, I cannot say some other things because they are regarded as not authentic. Not authentic. Right now, if I tell you that you narrate to me your story, you will say, I was born in 2019, my mom, I came to P1, I came to university in a single day. Of course, you will skip so many things, and that is what Allah does. He targets the most important issues. Others, for sure, that thing I don't know. To be very much sure, I don't know. It is also said that the other lady who seduced him at first, he was very old, but Yuusuf prayed to Allah, and then that lady became young, and then Yuusuf married that lady. I cannot be authentic, and then I cannot truthfully tell you that because I don't know. Now, when it comes to the other question of the 7 spikes, actually, the 7 cows. The 7 cows which are fat, they are the 7 good years of planting. And then the 7 cows which are lean, they are the 7 what? 7 years of drought. And the green spikes, they are the harvests. And then the dry spikes are the ones that we are eating now. We are using them as food. We are not planting anymore. Hada wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam.
Okay, thank you very much. It is not my doing, those who always attend halakha, to delay you, but today I'm doing it for a certain reason. You will exonerate me, please. I now ask Sheikh Abdul Bar to give us his best moment in this story of Yuusuf. Thank you very much.
The best one?
Your best moment, the most critical moment.
قمرص لا الذي أعجبني في هذه القصة إنما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى, maybe you will translate إن شاء الله, إنما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى الله في يوسف, when Allah Yuusuf he was in the when his brother, their brother, killed him, he wanted to kill him, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا. You will tell them this issue, this one. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want to tell us, when I have a problem, but to find someone to give me an advice, or to that, don't worry. If you have problem, but I'm here. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he tell Mr. Yuusuf, he tell Prophet Yuusuf, what? لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ بِأَمْرِهِمْ أَنَّهُ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Like Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when Firaun, he want to he want to kill him, but he come to Ahl Madiana, Shu'aib, he said what? Madiana.
لما أنزلت إليه من خير فقيرا.
he said in the other verse, لا خوف عليهم. لا خوف عليهم. That's the only thing that Alhamdulillah I take in this surah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he tell Yuusuf that don't worry, inshallah you tell them this history.
Okay, so now thank you Sheikh Abdul Bar for your wonderful resolution about that surah. So now I want to, as I'm concluding, to thank all people who have gathered in this halakha session. The great number gives us much hope to continue putting in more efforts, preparing for you such wonderful sessions. But the moment we see few numbers, we also say, but more so, when we are coming, when I became a modulator here, people said, oh, you wallah, low people, but I'm seeing Council Rashid, Council Sharif has been there, Council Zak, Council Mugum has been there, Council Maimuna, Council Shakira, Council Mariam, Council Jamila, Council Sharifa, Subhanallah. To mention but a few. There are very many here. I can't mention all of them. Now, listen. Even Council Karim, the beautiful one, is also there. Now we can now have a close recitation of the Quran. I don't know, my chairman, I don't hope you have something to say. I know when time has gone, you don't say anything. So you can have a close recitation of the Quran from Sheikhat Sumayya, inshallah. Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
Thank you very much. وهذا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.